Hello there my Jedi and Sith friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today I'm going to guide you through one of the most insane canon reveals that we just got in the brand new Legacy of Vader comic. We are now on issue number 11, the penultimate episode in this 12-part series, and just as a reminder, this comic run takes place in between the events of The Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker. Last time, trying to follow in the footsteps of Darth Vader, Kylo Ren went to Mustafar, guided by his late grandfather's former sycophant, a twisted man whose head is being kept alive in a tank called Vanet. By the end of the comic, Kylo managed to find himself in the netherworld of the Force. There he encountered many Force spirits, his uncle Luke, who foreshadowed Kylo's turn back to the light, as well as Yoda, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and others. And based on the tone of this comic, based on some of the plot points which honestly are very significant for a measly comic, some Star Wars fans believe that a lot of this might have been part of what was planned for the scrapped Hunt for Ben Solo movie, even though that would have taken place after Ben's death. And with this in mind, let's get on to the latest issue, which as you're gonna see, is pretty insane. Are you ready for this, my friends? It gets pretty dark. No more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. As Kylo Ren left the spiritual realm, he could hear his uncle's voice resonating in his mind. Kylo Ren means nothing to me, but I'll always be there for Ben. Kylo fought his inner demons before he found himself falling out of Darth Vader's meditation chamber. Almost falling headfirst, Vanet caught him. "My dark prince, what have you done to yourself? I'm sure you've made your grandfather very proud." Vanet placed the new Supreme Leader into a Bacta tank. A few hours passed. Kylo Ren was resting and recovering, but soon enough, he was awoken by Vanet's sharp and cruel voice. "When I first met you, you were Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader of the First Order, Master of the Knights of Ren, once an acolyte to Snoke, and the descendant of Skywalker. But despite all of your titles, young prince, you were, and forgive me for saying this, so little more than a child. But I, who served Darth Vader for many years, know what greatness looks like, and I finally see greatness in you. But for the greatness to truly appear, Kylo Ren must die." Kylo was confused, uncertain of what was coming next. Vanet injected him with a mysterious poison. "Do not be concerned, my Dark Lord. Anakin Skywalker died too. In your family, death is part of the journey." Once again, Kylo passed out, and when he awoke, his eyes looked upon a descending familiar mechanical mask, a helmet identical to the one of Darth Vader. A new Vader was about to be born. Much like his grandfather in Revenge of the Sith, Kylo was about to be transformed, the blackened shrine of a legend, a helmet which echoed a forgotten rage. Kylo started to wonder if the helmet was more than just a Sith symbol. It was a prison, and he was getting a taste of his grandfather's pain. "Breathe, my young friend. Just breathe." As Kylo started to squirm, trying to escape his shackles, what the frightened boy hadn't realized at first is he had been placed in the middle of a Mustafar lava pit, and he was about to be lowered in. Vanet was trying to create a new Darth Vader to worship, and in his twisted fantasies he knew that this Vader needed to feel the same amount of pain and anguish as the original. And this meant burning Ren's flesh in the same way Anakin once burned after his fight with Obi-Wan. Vanet let out a cackle. "Don't worry, young prince. The fumes will settle in your mind. Trust me, I know their effects very well. Sweet, searing serenity." You see, when Anakin burnt on Mustafar, it was agony, but not only of the flesh. A fire curled around him like a verdict. Anakin's world collapsed inward. At first, the heat came as a shock, but then, as a rising tide that stole the boundaries of his body, turning skin, breath, and mind into one trembling note of pain. But beneath the flames was something much more profound, a grief that burned far hotter, a grief that Palpatine craved from his apprentice. As the rest of his body crumbled like charred timber, his identity was transformed. He was defined by this pain. pinned to the black sand, forced to face the echo of his choices, each one like a spark that led him to that moment, to this inferno, and there was no turning back. To Vanet, Kylo would only fulfill his destiny of true darkness if he experienced the same rotten transformation. But as Vanet started to lower Kylo into the pit, using Force Choke, the Supreme Leader started to retaliate. But Vanet knew that Kylo wasn't going to kill him, because who would raise him from the pit? Who would save him? And just before Kylo Ren was lowered to the point of no return, he used the Force to escape the straps. He jumped up, broke the platform, and made his way back into Vader's castle. He examined the functions of the mask. He called out to the sycophant, "Vanet, come here at once!" He heard Vanet's voice, but couldn't see him. Vanet tried to explain himself, telling Kylo the story of how the Empire rose from the ashes of the Republic, and now that the Empire is fallen, and the First Order is here, and Snoke is dead, the galaxy needs a new Vader. The dark shadow he cast is a necessary one, and when I saw you, I saw hope. Hope for a new Vader. But now you've ruined it. And as Kylo gets to the center of the castle, he is confronted by what looks like a new version of Dark Troopers, although these look more like the earlier phases. Kylo is able to outrun them, and eventually, he finds an old Jedi's lightsaber, bleeds it, and it turns red, and destroys the Dark Troopers. And remember guys, I know it's controversial and not everyone likes this, but according to the new canon, the way to bleed a kyber crystal is to pour your dark side emotions into it. Now the reason Kylo Ren wanted to come to Mustafar in the first place was to access Darth Vader's secret vault, and by the end of the comic, he's about to enter. After he's fought off all of what Vanet threw at him, he kills Vanet by throwing him into a lava pit. And Vanet's final words, "Truly, you are Vader reborn." He felt Kylo's rage, the last act Vanet would ever see alive. So at the end of the comic, Kylo finds himself all alone, staring into Vader's mysterious vault, wondering what darkside secrets awaited him. Is Vader's vault real? Does it contain his power? These were Kylo's questions to Vanet, but he also wondered if this was just another lie, another attempt to manipulate him into becoming the fulfillment of some man's old fantasy. And this is why by the time of the Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren's feelings towards Darth Vader have changed a bit. And remember, Kylo believed that Vader's redemption was a moment of weakness. I wonder if Anakin's Force ghost is finally going to talk to him, grandfather to grandson. The final issue coming in January will finish this story. Share your thoughts on this comic in the comments down below, my dear friends. What do you make of this reveal? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.